My dearest Anna. Life on the front is hard. To pass the time, my mind returns fondly to memories of my expeditions to the South American rainforests in search of wondrous discoveries.
Are you ready to continue on our journey to the lost city of Zed?
In a minute, yeah. Why am I carrying everything again?
Because I'm navigating, I need my full range of motion to find the direction. Let us sally forth. This way. This way.
Which perhaps gives you some idea of how terrible it is here on the front. The dugout is squalid, shell fire unrelenting, and I live under constant threat of gas attack due to Robin's predominantly bean-based diet.
Sorry.
What?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, Robin! Oh, can't you go outside for once?
Well, no, because then the officers would say we'd left an exploitable gap in our defences.
Oh, God, I thought the war wasn't bad enough.
Do you want to play a game to clear the air?
What have you got?
The Grizzled. It's a cooperative game about the First World War.
Are you Why don't we lighten the mood a little and talk about the Lost Expedition instead? A cooperative journey into the centre of the South American rainforests. And what a beautiful journey it is.
Inside this masterfully crafted box is a plethora of delightfully illustrated cards representing everything from old huts, perilous rope bridges, and crocodile attacks. You'll need to find your way down cliffs, along rivers, and through jungle to find the lost city of Zed, all done by playing cards with the move symbol on them.
That gets you one space closer, but these moves are few and far between. Most cards, and these are all challenges you must overcome, either cost you some of your precious resources, or force you to make difficult decisions. The crocodile, for example, either requires you to shoot it, or to make a long detour through unknown territory.
Nom 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 nom.
If the name and the theme weren't clues enough, the Grizzled is a far darker game. You play as a group of friends from the First World War, and your only aim is to survive to the end, which, let's be honest, isn't something that happened to most men of that period.
You'll each receive a hand of cards that symbolically represent the relentless difficulties you face. Players will place one of these out each round, hoping to get as many out as possible.
Because once everyone's passed, the number of cards still in players' hands determines how many get added to the trials deck you're still working through.
Which puts peace that much further away. However, you cannot have 3 of the same symbol or weather type out at the same time, or the mission fails and they all go on top of the trials deck. Worse yet, you can only afford to take so long. If you run out of cards in the reserve deck, you reveal the memorial.
You ran out of time. You didn't make it home.
Grizzled is a hard co-op, but the Lost Expedition is hardly a walk in the park either. Like the Grizzled, you'll have a hand of cards each round. Like the Grizzled, you cannot discuss exactly what cards you have, but unlike the Grizzled, you can actually laugh at the events that occur.
Each round represents a day of travel and the things you come across on the path. During the morning, the cards you play out are organised into number order.
This organisation is important. Some of the cards let you gain supplies or knowledge that you can use to avoid taking damage later on. Several of the cards let you skip the next cards in sequence, letting you avoid particularly dangerous events.
In the evening, you place out the remaining cards in your hand onto the table, and now these are resolved in the order they're played.
So, you have more control, but you have to deal with everything you have left. You're going to have bad turns. It's about doing the best you can with what you have, about surviving as long as you can with the supplies you have. And supplies are very, very tight.
Robin, we're running dangerously low on hobnobs.
What? Surely we packed enough for the journey.
Well, maybe, but I got dangerously peckish during the night.
What?
Well, they're just so Moorish. What?
Because of the lack of communication, mistakes inevitably occur. like skipping a card that was perfectly safe. But that's okay, because the Lost Expedition is not as miserable
Meaningful.
as the Grizzled. You laugh at these errors, and unusually for a co-op, you don't play an individual character, but collectively the expedition as a whole. So you have no skin in this game. You're free to just enjoy the challenge and the story that your journey tells.
And oh boy, do you have skin in this game. The Grizzled wants you to feel things personally, but personally for your group, for the people with whom you're playing the game.
A central mechanic is the cups of tea. At the end of a mission, the players can make a cup of tea for one of the other players. You all secretly select a tea token and reveal which way it is pointing, passing it to that player. Then, whoever gets the most tea tokens, in other words, the most support from the other players, gets a bonus, unlocking their player power or remedying their psychological weaknesses.
Once again, you can't discuss this step, and it is brilliant. Failure means everything just keeps getting worse, but the inability to communicate isn't simply an arbitrary game mechanic. It's intrinsic to the way that people struggle to communicate the hardships they face in day-to-day life, let alone on the battlefield. The fact that a game like this exists, that's willing to tackle such a serious topic in a mature and intelligent way, is just exceptional.
Robin, are you coming out from under the table at some point?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, we've got a game about the horrors of war against a game about the horrors of crocodiles? But which is greater? The war. It's over. Would you take a nice cup of tea, Robin?
Oh yes, thank you, Matt. Perfect. Much better. So, games?
Indeed. The Grizzled is a great but forbidding game. The Lost Expedition is not as lofty in its aims, but that means you can have fun with the challenge.
You'll be crafting a story of your daring expedition, the dangers you avoid, the traps you fall face first into. It's funny, especially when it's your fault it's gone wrong, and generally it will be.
And isn't that sometimes a problem?
No?
Take, for example, when you have to take wounds. You as the players decide which character gets the wounds, which often ends up in one person being thrown under the bus so all the other characters can make it to the city.
Nom 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 nom.
Wait, what's that sound?
Nom 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 nom.
There!
Nom 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 nom.
Quick, shoot it! Shoot it!
Bang!
What are you doing?
It's not a real gun. Those things are dangerous.
What are we gonna do?
I know.
Nom 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 nom.
Now I remember why I didn't enjoy that expedition.
Ha, yeah.
But it's important to remember that not everyone plays a given character. You collectively control the expedition. So no one has to sit out the game.
And that just takes out all the personal investment in the characters.
True, but this game requires that characters volunteer to take wounds. If each player had to control their own character, then that would lead to negotiation over who dies and who makes it to the city. That wouldn't have been fun.
Oh, bugger. Matt had all the food.
Okay, but it still undercuts the thematic peril and hardships that the characters are supposed to be facing.
I mean, when we played, it became a joke that we'd just give all the wounds to Roy. Oh no, Roy's fallen in the snake pit again.
Don't get me wrong, the Lost Expedition is loads of fun, but the Grizzled offers something so much more meaningful.
Despite being so much more abstract.
Yeah, but you couldn't really approach this subject matter in any other way, right? It's not really a war game, so it abstracts out the fighting. It's a game about friendship and about cooperation. It's about being aware of the other players around you. The setting is just the emotional hook to grab your attention.
Yeah, I can't really fight you on this one. I don't know whether it's because the First World War is such a major part of British history that the Grizzled resonates so strongly, or whether that would hold true no matter what country you're from.
I don't know. I like to think that the message of the Grizzled transcends its setting.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing to find a board game that wants to talk on a deeper level.
And Lost Expedition is tons of fun, but it can't really compete.
It does, however, have a solo and two-player mode, whereas the Grizzled kind of really only works well at 3+.
Yeah, the game about friendship doesn't really work if you don't have friends. So I guess we're giving the golden grater to the Grizzled.
Yep, done.
Thanks for watching the Grizzled vs. Lost expedition, and I'm glad to say that the right game won.
Get lost, Robin.
I like that. But you know what I need after that grim grittiness of the Grizzled is a little bit of escapism.
Ooh, something out of this world, perhaps.
Yeah, something in outer space.
Maybe, yes.
Yeah.
Could it be, Star Wars?
Or Star Trek.
Wait, we could compare them.
We could.
What?
Attack Wing versus X-Wing. Tune in next week for more excitement.
And in the meantime, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends.
Yeah, click on screen for more.